Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I hope you liked that little picture that I made just beforehand. It seems like Hamza definitely did. Yeah, had to be done, man. Had to be done. If you chat, you know what? Like, the Jamie Vardy saying goes, you get banged. And Antonio was definitely talking a lot of nonsense before this game. Geordie is in the building. Away the F lads. I mean, what a result for you guys today. Congratulations on that. And then Hamza says, "What an intro, by the way. Good evening and hello, everyone." Yes, absolutely. Very good evening to everybody that is in the chat, and good evening to these handsome fellas on the panel. Elliot, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm probably a bit like Mike though, a bit tired. I got up to watch the F1 this morning, so I'm a bit,
Oh, mate.
yeah, a
Oh,
bit
very
tired.
much
So I think
F1
we're in the
hype.
same boat, but we've got a lot to talk about, so I'm sure we'll get on well.
Absolutely. And Mike is obviously looking tired today because he was actually at the game. So, how was that one for you, mate?
Mate, honestly, phenomenal experience. I think between me and Elliot, we might have one human being today, so that's the upside. But incredible experience, mate. I could go on about it, but anyone that's been
Please
to
do.
Anfield know what it's like. I mean, listen, I went with my step. I got to go with my stepdad. Something we've done throughout the years. He shares a season ticket, in the best way he can, even now. And we were able to get in doing that, and it's just in the Cop. It's the same seats every time, and it was just it was a personally it was a good experience to spend that time with him, but also yeah, it was just great because when you go to the games regularly, you have the regulars around those certain seats, and you kind of recognize people and they recognize you, so it's good catching up with some people there. And also, to say, the atmosphere, you still get tingles when you hear "You'll Never Walk Alone," that never fades. And yeah, man, it's my first look at the stand since it's been built, the one opposite the Cop.
Wow. Built,
And
you say
Built.
built loosely, mate.
well,
Yeah.
loosely, say built loosely. And I gotta say, I think once that's finished and we pack that out, the atmosphere we could generate from that, is, as long as it doesn't all go to corporate, I think could just genuinely be special. So that was amazing, and then delivered with a phenomenal game of football, and yeah, couldn't be happier. And I'm glad to be here to talk about it.
Absolutely, and I love getting people's opinions that were there. It's obviously me and Elliot did our best. We watched it on. I won't disclose too much information, but I'm sure we watched it in some way or another. So yeah, but when you're there, you obviously get a different feeling for it altogether. So
Yeah.
guys, please make sure you smash the like button, subscribe. I am kind of all right today. Actually, I was shattered yesterday because I was up at 8:30. Talking to the legend that is Sammy Lee. So if you haven't
Hmm.
watched that, please go over to the channel and make sure you watch that video. Sammy was an absolute gent, and yeah, I learned so much from him. The video is actually shortened down because we did have some Wi-Fi technical difficulties. That's why, like, you see him swap room halfway through. So there is a bit, unfortunately, that was cut out, but yeah, I think it was still a good little podcast. And also, how could I forget? Check out Your Foot Card, link in the description. Go and buy one of these because this guy is the absolute king. We're going to get on to Mo Salah. There's a lot to discuss about that man there. Kenny Dalglish as well. He's on the site, as well as Arnold, who's watching the game from the bench today, although isn't able to play at the minute. But use TAT Pod at checkout for 15% off. Right. That's all the formalities out the way. I've asked you boys how you doing. I've shouted out the sponsor and I've plugged the video. So let's get on to the main stuff. Mike, we're gonna head to you first, mate. You was there when you saw this lineup,
Yeah.
and you obviously we spoke about we spoke about it before. Like, lineups are always important, but lineups aren't absolutely everything. So yeah, what did you think when you saw this lineup, mate? Was you confident?
I was surprised to see Nunez and Diaz start. I think we all thought
Very
after
good
they got
decision.
90 minutes in midweek to see them start was a surprise. I was happy about it because I think they've earned the starting 11. They both have been fantastic this season. They've been two of our standout players. Seeing Jones, McAllister, Szoboszlai wasn't a surprise. Very happy with it. I think that's our currently, when fit, that's our best midfield three right now. I'm pretty confident in saying that. Van Dijk, Matip, was surprised that was the combination, but also I'm glad we're not rushing Konate back. Joe Gomez being right back wasn't a surprise. He played a blinder today, which I'm sure we'll talk about. And yeah, obviously Alisson Robertson, you know what to expect from that. In terms of their team,
Yeah.
I tweeted about it before the game started. Ward-Prowse was the worry for me. I think he is their best player. I really do. Although Paqueta put on quite the dazzling performance at
Oh,
Anfield. But I
he's
think
unreal. If
unbelievable.
sorry, just interrupt you there. If
Oh,
if it wasn't for him being a naughty boy and putting a few bets on, he would be
he'd
at
be in a
City
City
for
shirt.
Yeah, exactly. But so maybe it's a blessing in disguise. But what a player he is!
You can see the talent, and when he moved to West Ham, it took him a while to settle in, but I think he's really growing game in, game out now. Last season, people started to see it, and I think he's going to be in for a great season this year alongside Ward-Prowse and Bowen. They've got a good side. They've got a good side.
Elliot, what you say, mate?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with everyone. Mike said I was pleasantly surprised to see Nunes and Diaz. I was convinced he'd do Gakpo and Jota. I was convinced that's what he was going to do throughout the whole group stage, but it seems not, which is interesting. So it'll be, we'll intrigued to see what he's going to do for Leicester, because surely that would mean Gakpo and Jota, especially with Jota coming on playing well, they get the 90 minutes. Midfield picks itself, I think. I don't think anyone can really make a good shout for themselves after the Thursday, especially when they're just their first minutes anyway, isn't it? So midfield picks itself. And you know what, Konate, he might have a bit of competition with Matip at the moment, because Konate can be a bit, hit and miss in terms of just on the ball and that, because Matip was really back to his best, I thought, today. So was, not bothered, to be honest, seeing the lineup, because I wasn't, I was quite content seeing Matip back in there and going was it right back, even though he'd done the inverted thing again, which I'm still not convinced on. First 45 I wasn't convinced on, but he grew into it really well, and it's a nice to see him progressing in the role. So lineup was absolutely fine for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And just on the Konate Matip thing, I was speaking to my brother about it. We'd actually gone to Greg's for lunch. We was walking back and the team came out. And I saw obviously the meltdowns on Twitter, which you always get no matter what the manager decides to do. There's always going to be unhappy people. But I just said to him, maybe he just thinks Matip, especially at set pieces, would be better to defend them than Konate. It's not that Konate is bad. And people, I know Mike said just then that, maybe we're not risking him yet, but he did play against Lask. So I'm thinking, I think it's just a tactical thing, to be honest, and that is going to happen. And there are going to be games where, Konate is probably suited for, and there's games where Matip's suited for, at home, where we've probably got most of the ball, which we did in the end. I think it was over 60% possession. We all know West Ham's threat was going to be from set pieces, corners, throw-ins. So if that's the decision you're making, who's better at defending those? In Klopp's opinion, if that is Joe Matip, then it's just as simple as that for me. I don't think there was anything more to it than that. And like you said, Ellie, it worked because he was good anyway. So it's not like we can speak, in hindsight, like, this is what happened. No, like Matip did play well today. And just in a nutshell, really, I don't really, we'll talk about it in detail in a moment. I don't really see a player from that starting 11 that didn't play well today, to be fair. A few of them took a while to get going, I think, and again, we'll get on to that. But I think when the game got going and, we grew into it and we had the control, I don't think anyone really played poorly. But let's just talk about the start, Mike, because obviously you were there in the ground, and the first 10 minutes, it seems to be a bit of a theme for us at the minute. The start of the game, I don't know what it is about Liverpool this season, but we sort of, as I was joking about with Elliot before we started, we give the teams a chance in 10 minutes. And if they're not taking the chance, we gave you a chance. Now we're going to take it away from you.
Yeah, it felt like that. I think the thing is, that is a theme from last season. I think that's a theme from last season we haven't quite eradicated. I think last season we had a habit of starting badly. Now, our bad starts would last 90 minutes sometimes, and sometimes the bad starts would last 45 minutes, and we play well for a second half. I think at the moment, like you say, I think we're starting games, Wolves not included, because Wolves was just a bad first half. We're starting games a bit sluggishly. Even when we look like we're at it, we just are a little bit open, a little bit sloppy. And we'll give the ball away and we'll give a chance away. Now, thankfully, we have one of the best keepers on the planet in goal. And the save he made in the first 10 minutes is not a save many keepers can make. And it was in that moment, it's like, right, that's your warning sign. Now, I remember a couple of games into the season, maybe it was the game McAllister got sent off in, where Trent made the mistake, and then there was a mistake left from Robbo, a mistake from Van Dijk. And we hadn't learned from our mistake, and it was just, here you go again. In this moment, it felt like we did. It felt like the first 10 minutes, we got the warning, and then we were like, right, calm down, wake up, let's sort ourselves out. And yeah, it was a little bit nervy, I won't lie. But it was literally, it felt like I blinked, and next thing you know, Alisson's on the ground down here. Like he's not meant to make that save. Like it is an incredible save. And not the first time this season he's made a world class save. So yeah.
Oh, exactly. And Elliot, what's your take on that, mate? First 10 minutes, there was two big chances. Obviously, the one Mike's alluding to, the header from Tusek, and then a few moments later, Antonio has another good chance. So what is it? Why are we leaking so many big chances early on?
I don't know. I mean, I'd have to probably look back at the probably first 20 minutes of every game of the season. But I thought the theme of today was crosses, not stopping them basically, or not tracking a man in the box, because that happened far too much. Even in the second half, there was a good chance for Bowen, I think, from a corner or a free kick, and Alisson just catches it, thankfully. So I don't know, maybe that's the theme, but I can't seem to remember if it was in the first, of the games. It's just slow. I did think he was slow on the ball and slow to react with West Ham's possession, attacking possession. I don't know why it's a theme. I think Mike said from last season that I said on the preview, it's a thing from 2 seasons ago, the quadruple, when they were going down 1 goal and giving us all actually, fright to say the least, and they're still carrying on and getting better, but couldn't really pinpoint it. But it's one of them where you have to have the players, and thankfully Nunes did do that when he comes back and drags the team back up the pitch, and that's where the first attack and penalty comes from, isn't it?
Exactly, and we'll get onto that, and you're absolutely spot on. But I think I'm not sure what it is, and obviously it's not planned. Like we are just joking when we say like we just give teams a chance. So there is obviously something then that needs looking at, and I'm sure it will be ironed out eventually. But I find this quite funny. Hamza says Alisson wasn't supposed to save that. Susek had he hadn't read the script because we are supposed to concede first. I mean, yeah, fair enough. We have done that loads this season. And yeah, we'll get on to the Bowen goal in a few moments. But yeah, absolutely, mate. You mentioned Nunes and, linking up with Diaz and Salah. For me, and we'll get on to the goal itself, but in fact, now we'll save the Darwin Nunes prop for a bit later on. But I thought it was brilliant from Nunes to the way he worked the ball in that situation, linking up with Diaz, and then it sort of got pinged back into Nunes. It came off his ankle or his heel, and then ended up at Salah. Salah takes it past his man, gets a penalty, and Mike, he slots it home. And before you talk about the penalty, I find it very interesting. He didn't do his normal run up today. He just smashed it. Yeah. He just ran up to it and just smashed it. Is that because he's missed a few, or do you think he just changed his mind, or I don't know? Is that something to look at?
I mean, it's not something that I would overanalyze, but I suppose one way you could look at it is, keepers train regularly for whoever they're going to face, and with Salah, they know he's our main penalty taker, so they'll be sort of looking and analyzing. All right, does he do a specific run up when he's going left or right? Is there any sort of things we can look for? So it doesn't. Maybe it's just a thing where he's like, right, I'll surprise him. I'll go for a slight different run up. Makes the keeper less confident in whatever they're going to do. It could be anything like that. But I think overall, I was watching it from afar. I'm not going to lie. When he went down originally, I was like, what happened? Like, I couldn't even see. I feel like I've got bad vision. I was looking at the other end of the pitch. I wasn't even sure what had happened. I was just like, Salah's down. That's all I know. Pen's given. The build-up play before was brilliant. I think Nunes's hold-up play has came on leaps and bounds. And listen, we're going to cover Nunes and the praise he deserves later, but beautiful pass to Diaz. He runs it through. Diaz tries to play it back into Nunes. Quite a Nunes moment in the sense that I think he's trying to let it run alongside him, and he kind of just misses it, and it kind of just hits his heel instead. But because when you have a bit of luck, you have a bit of luck. So it goes into Salah's path. He takes it past his man, brought down penalty, and it's like Hamza says, pure power shot, and it's really well taken penalty. I haven't actually seen the highlights back, so you tell me from what obviously you guys are watching live, however you watched it live, but what was it like for you two in terms of the build up?
Yeah, no, it was as I said, it was important because it was almost like they needed the two, most, I would say Diaz and Nunes are the two most attacking players, even though Salah's there, but to get grip a game kind of from deep, and Nunes, it was people probably doubt him doing that, but I thought it was great to see him coming just into his own half and literally getting the ball, grabbing it and going. And I think, nailed on penalty, nothing to do about that. I think the pass to Nunes is probably the wrong one if he wants it to his feet. It's going that way when he's going that way, kind of thing. So unlucky, but you get your fortune and things like that, and it's great play from Salah to win the penalty, isn't it? I was shouting, thinking Nunes could have sort of took a shot, because I thought maybe if he doesn't play to the whistle, Darwin, because he just stopped, but thankfully it was a penalty, nailed on, just
absolutely. It was a nailed on pen. I think what I'm not saying it should have been a red, but Salah scores if he doesn't take him out there, I think, because he's already got away from the man. I think Zuma is coming in right at the very end, so obviously that's why no one's even probably considering it. But I can't help but think Salah's took a perfect touch. He's got it away from the defender. He's about to let that fly, and I'm sorry, it's going to go in the bottom left corner, but it didn't matter in the end anyway. But yeah, Stonewall pen, brilliant pen. And I just want to read this to you guys as we're talking about Salah right now. Goal involvements in 12 consecutive Premier League games. And Mike, he is the first player in Premier League history to do this twice in his career. How crazy is that?
It is ludicrous. Like it is genuinely ludicrous. It's something that almost feels like a game. It feels like FIFA, like the kind of player that you just gas up. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel like real stats when you hear that. And I've got his stats up in front of me right now since he joined. In 17-18. So 36 games, 42 goal contributions in the Prem. 2018-2019, 38 games, 30 goal contributions. 2019-2020, 34 games. 29 goal contributions. 2020 to 2021, 37 games, 27 goal contributions. 2021-22, 35 games, 36 goal contributions. Last season, 38 games and 31 goal contributions. This season alone, 6 games, 7 goal contributions.
So he's going to get 30 again.
He's on track. To be honest, I'm looking at that now, and for me, I genuinely think he might go on to have his second best season for us. I really think this could be the second best season. Most I can never say the best because I don't think he's ever going to get 43 goals for us again in one season. No. Respectfully, but there's something about him now. His whole play has improved. When he first joined, he was a goal scorer, but there were issues with his build, or maybe he's just a bit too selfish. And then maybe there's always been that question mark there, but his creativity has just came in leaps and bounds over the last 3 years or so. And I think now he's taken that role of leadership in the front line where he's being very unselfish at times, I think. And I just think he's phenomenal. I think he will go down in the Premier League as a top 5 Premier League player of all time. And and listen, I never used to think that, even when he was having the seasons he's having, I think because of how long he's done it for, at the level he's done it at, I don't think it's a debate. I don't think you can debate that when someone says Salah's top 5 of all time in the Prem. I really don't think it's a debate anymore.
Elliot, I was on a space and just after the game and was talking about it, and I got to Salah because I was talking about it and giving my views, and I was just going through the whole team really, and I got to Salah, and I just remember saying, like, there's nothing left to say about this man that's not been said. He's just so consistent, and I've never seen a player as consistent across 5, 6, 7 years in the Premier League as Mohamed Salah. So, yeah, do you agree with Mike? He surely, I know this is a bit off topic, but he deserves this. Does he go down, in your opinion? Like, where does he go down? That should be the question.
Well, we don't know yet, because hopefully he doesn't go to Saudi Arabia anytime soon. I've said it. I feel like I repeat myself every week by saying he's one of the Premier League greats, and I feel like that phrase is, something which doesn't get said a lot about a player who's still playing in the Premier League. So I think we need to get it going a bit more, because he needs to have that title, because it's almost like them stats, like the second player in the only player to do it in Premier League history, and it's him who's done it twice, 12 consecutive games. That needs to be, people need to understand that's not normal, clearly, because he's the only one who's done it. So he is unbelievable, and he's just got
Luis Suarez, Thierry Henry, Cristiano Ronaldo. None of them have done it.
It's a bit of a, the word which everyone kind of makes a bit of a joke about these days, but the aura he's got these days as well. And I feel like that comes into effect with the creativity-wise. People just don't know what to do with him. You can't double up on him because you'll just give it to one of the other attackers. And then I just feel like, I'm going a bit off topic, but he wants one more go at that Champions League. There's no doubt. Surely he's too good. And I hope he can carry this on. There's no doubt, as Mikey just read out all the stats, no injuries. He's going to just carry on. And in Liverpool,
touch wood, please.
Touch wood, absolutely. Liverpool got so many attacking players around them these days for them to help. To get them creativity stats even better. So it's only looking up, isn't it? Really, for me, considering
exactly.
Like Liverpool just need to get back up and compete with City, and to see them in the top 2 was a very nice, picture after the game today.
Hamza says this is AFCON season 2. I completely forgot about this. But Hamza, we've got a young Scottish Messi waiting to come on and carry the baton for a few games. So
Andy
don't
Robertson.
you worry about that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that was the first goal. Second goal, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
You would have seen a good angle of this, I'm sure.
Indeed.
Yeah, I was speaking to Elliot. I want to know what your thoughts are. What's going wrong here? Who's at fault? Kuffel's crossed it into Bowen. It's Van Dijk's man. I think I was a bit harsh on Van Dijk when I actually watched the game. I thought it was terrible defending. Is he?
I
Sorry,
think
someone just came in.
No, you're all good.
But yeah, what are you saying? Who do you think's at fault, and what went wrong for that goal?
Well, I think from my perspective, as I say, it's literally right in front of me when I've seen it in the moment. Again, I've not watched that. I've got to make it clear. The only goal I've seen is Nunez's goal because it was all over my feed. So I've seen that Nunez goal not way too many times. I've seen it a lot. But the Van Dijk, you say Van Dijk error. For me, I think he's judged it correctly because he was not expecting Bowen to go for a diving header at that height. I've seen people criticizing Van Dijk for it, but I didn't see anything wrong. It's coming across. He knows if Bowen tries to swing at it with his boot, he's in front of it. The ball's not going anywhere. Bowen goes low with his head. Van Dijk knows if he lifts his foot up, it's a red card because he's not going to get connection with it. He's going to kick him in the chin. Like that's what looks like is going to happen. So he can't lift his foot up. So he's caught in a catch-22. And as I say, this is just how I thought in the moment. He's caught in a catch-22 where he's like, right, I don't know what to do here because his head is where my shin is, and it's an incredible header. I'd take nothing away from the header from Bowen. It's an incredible header. It's a great bit of improvisation.
Unreal.
And I think Van Dijk just he didn't expect it. Bowen's behind him, and the next thing you know, Bowen's head is next to his shin. For me, I felt it was very harsh when I noticed at halftime people were criticizing it. No one in the stadium. I didn't hear anyone in the stadium say, "Oh, that's Van Dijk's fault." It just kind of felt like one of those goals. But obviously, I seen on Twitter. I had a little look at halftime. While I was waiting for the hot dog, I never got. By the time I got to the front of that queue at the kiosk, there was no hot dogs left. I got just got some Pringles and a bottle of water in the end. But is what it is.
No, absolutely. I think you're right. I think looking at it first time in full speed, you can blame Virgil, but I think, like you said to me, Elliot, beforehand, if Virgil tries to do anything, he's probably going to give a pen away and get sent off. Yeah, he's on the floor pretty much. He's headed the ball, and the keeper can do nothing about it, right?
Yeah, no, I don't think not at all. I think that, as I said to you before, the problem is, and if you want to be hypercritical of a day which was good, it's probably coming from the inverted full back thing again, where the line of the back line is just a bit all over the shop, isn't it, in a transition? And they had the warning signs. I when it happened, I didn't really. I knew it was coming. Something was coming. Whether it was going to be another big chance or just a goal itself, because the crosses, they didn't stop them. And no one said. I don't think it's on anyone specifically, as we said, Van Dijk. I don't think he had a great game. I thought. I don't think people just like to jump on him, don't they? So no, I think it's more of a backline problem, more of a system problem, and I don't even think the system was great today. And that's the thing, where the system, it needs to be solidified to the fact where you can't just have one little chance, which because the backline's been all over the place because one's inside and the centre back's out wide. We'll have to wait and see how he develops that. But no, I don't think it's a big deal to go into, apart from the fact, just the system again. Maybe we see it solidified when Trent's back.
Yeah, and going off that as well, I think. It's part of the game. You're going to concede chances. No, you can't play a flawless game. And I think if you look at the chances we conceded today, the only chance I looked at, but two chances I looked at, and I think, right, that's something we need to improve on, was Bowen's free header and Antonio's free header. I look at all the other ones and I go, right, that's just part of the game. You can say he could have defended better, he could have done something different, but that is what it is. I think the goal that Bowen scored it's a good goal. Yeah, I know maybe Robbo could have stepped up, held the line better, or whatever, but it's just a good goal, and nothing wrong with that. Bowen's a very good player. It was a smart ball. He made the most of it.
Yeah, and I think the worst part about it is obviously the timing as well. We'd kept them out up until that moment, and just before the break, they get the equaliser. And to be fair, I at half time, I did tweet. I tweeted, guys, don't worry, Nunez is getting one minimum in this game, and I just had a very strong feeling that Darwin, he'd already had the half chance in the first half. And he was looking lively, so I just had a feeling that, and I did predict in the preview as well, that I
Salah
think I
was
even said
like a
Mo
pen.
Salah would score a
Yeah,
pen. Yeah,
I was
so
going to message
not
you.
too
Yeah.
bad. Yeah.
Done well.
Salah pen, Nunes goal, and hey, if Nunes scored the other chance, it would have been 3-1. So sorry, I predicted 2-1, didn't I? Wait, what did I? Yeah, I predicted 2-1. I got confused there. So yeah, very close. If Jota doesn't score, I get it right, but I would rather Jota score goals. So yeah, I don't know why I thought Salah was getting a pen. It's just weird feeling. But yeah, I knew Nunes was getting a goal minimum in this game. I knew he was not leaving this game without a goal. I think he scored against them last season as well, to be fair. So when I just seen him looking lively and playing, I was like, guys, just chill. Like, we're gonna score goals in the second half. No problem. Like, these don't look good at the back. So yeah, Nunes, obviously, start of the half, makes you like an idiot. Thanks, Darwin. Thanks for that. You've missed an absolute sitter of a chance. I was put my head in my hands thinking, I've literally just tweeted that this guy is going to score in the second half, and then he goes and does that. And Mike, this is the thing about Darwin Núñez, because obviously going to get onto his goal, but why does he miss the easy chances, but then he scores the tougher one?
You want to know what's really interesting? When Darwin Núñez missed, there wasn't a groan in the cop. Like, I think through a couple of us,
you could hear it.
Yeah, it was an audible one, but like there wasn't. I don't think it was. Okay, I'll reword it. I don't think it was like here we go again. It was almost like seeing your kid miss a chance watching a football game. You're like, it was like don't worry, And there was when I watched Darwin's reaction to it, it was really interesting because Darwin's missed. Salah's done that right. First thing Salah does, he goes straight over to him, has a little word, move on, and then I was just staring. I was watching his movement afterwards. He comes out of the box. He's moving, but like he smacked himself. It was weird. Like anyone that was he just goes does that twice on his wrist, and then he was just back at it and started running again. He's got a wonderful mentality as a striker because he takes it hard but not too hard. It motivates him for his next movement, and it motivates his next moment. And I think in that moment, everyone kind of just went, I know the commentators are probably going, Núñez doing Núñez things, whatever. It was not nonsense. It was his reaction was exactly what he wanted. He should have scored. Put it that way. He should have put it on target. I think that we all agree. But he should have
scored, not hit the target. Yeah, he should have scored.
Yeah,
come on, we have to be honest. We love Núñez, but he should have scored that. Brilliant from Mo Salah again, by the way. Brilliant from Mo Salah.
Again, brilliant from Mo Salah. Great run from Szoboszlai that helped start the move as well. And
of course,
yeah, listen, it was a great moment. But like as I say, you move on from there and you move on to the real beauty. Because we all knew it was coming.
Talk us through it. Yeah, talk us through it from your view, and then me and Elliot will give our peasant view watching it on a laptop. So, yeah.
Well, I've got a bit of a ballsy shout here. I'm about to take all the credit away from McAllister, and I feel bad for this because me and my stepdad agree completely. Watching the build-up between that McAllister and Salah, right? Constantly, there's a load of movement between those two. When McAllister plays that ball, I'm convinced he's trying to pass to Salah. And
he's a massive excellent good ball.
No, I'm not lying to you. I'm convinced. Watch it. You watch it back. Look at where. Yeah, go on.
I'm watching it right now, mate.
When you look at it, right, I tell you right now. Look where McAllister looks. Follow his eyes and follow Salah. Like if you can follow the head movements.
How are you looking at his eyes when you're in the?
Not his eyes, the head. Look at the head. I was staring at them, mate. But yeah, look at his head movement.
It's still a good ball, though. So that's all that matters. So that matters.
Listen, it's fine. Yeah, it's not like this is live or going out on YouTube. We can cut it out.
Check it.
Okay then.
Right.
Are you pulling it? Or go on.
I can't put it on the. We'll get taken down.
Like, I can tell Ben's going to disagree with me straight away, and I could have been wrong. It was an amazing pass, Hamza. I agree with you. It's an amazing pass, brother. I'm in agreement with that. There's no doubt. But like, I'm just convinced he was trying to play it to Salah originally, and there's no harm in that. It's fine.
No, I think you're taking a bit of credit away from this. Like,
I'm not meaning to. All right, let's pretend I didn't see what I seen.
All I mean,
but hang on, wait, let me just get. I can put a still image on the screen.
You know what? Right. I probably shouldn't have even brought it up. I should have just pretended to not have that thought.
Jamie Carragher impression. Pause it now. Right,
Gary, just pause it there. I mean, I can't zoom in and answer.
I'm sorry.
Salah.
I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this with you.
Salah's not.
Oh, there you go. Boom. Right.
Yeah, but he's chipped it into like this
he's
area. So how is that to Salah?
I'm not having that, Mike. Sorry, I'm with Ben.
That's fine. That's fine.
In an interview, he saw Salah and Núñez making a run. Okay, so you're saying that he's.
So we're both right. So we're both right.
So I'm about to wax lyrical about McAllister as well. You just completely.
I will know. I listen. Ignore that little tangent. I'm tired. I should have kept that opinion to myself. But, like, away from that, it is
Elliot
genuinely.
Saying, to be fair, we need to be more controversial on this channel.
Oh, we've got to stir up the views, bro.
So let's start again, right? Forget it, and start from now and say how crap McAllister is, and then we'll
for me, man, McAllister's just he's Jordan Henderson's the exact same player.
He tweeted that out. Oh my word!
Oh my god! Yeah,
oh my god.
Don't screen grab that. Yeah, that looks bad out of context. No, listen, it was an incredible ball, and I think the thing about Darwin, which we all are gonna love, whether we love it or hate it, but we kind of love it. He scores the harder chance every time. He can't the tapping he struggles with, but he scores the harder chance. It's a wonderful run. It's a great pass. Whoever he was passing to, it's a great pass, and he's got his foot on the end of it, and it's a wonderful finish. It's great, and obviously the pure limbs at the cop end, man. I couldn't be happier.
Big up Ends, by the way.
Big up Ends.
Check out Endsman TV, guys. Make sure you go and subscribe to him. Yeah, I mean, Elliot, it was a brilliant goal, and just. I thought it was a perfect pass from McAllister.
So do I.
I thought it was an absolutely brilliant pass. And it's just the way, for me, the movement from Nunes as well, because he's just moved at like the last possible second. He's kept himself onside as well, which is impressive in today's age because any part of your body offside is offside. Mm-hmm. So there's pretty much two talking points that we can discuss here. There's the ball, which I think Mike's already spoken about, so thanks for that. And Darwin again scoring a tougher chance, and he sort of clips it into the goal, doesn't he?
Yeah, no, I think everyone trying to try and build a narrative around Nunes going, oh, Nunes is at it again. I think they should probably watch nearly every Manchester City game that Haaland scores in and watch him miss a chance, because he does do that. He does that.
Great shout, mate. Well
that happens because guess what? Strikers are going to get more than one chance and are going to miss them, because when a good team is playing well, they create multiple chances, and not every game is going to be 8-0 like it was with Newcastle today. So I don't think...
Was it 8?
8-0 in the end. 8-0. And how brutal was this? 8 minutes at a time, or six minutes at a time.
First thing tomorrow morning.
I don't think there needs to be any sort of, Nunes missed. I mean, okay, he should put that in the back of the net. But if you remember, I mean, there's one specific chance for Haaland he missed when City dropped points at Nottingham Forest. It was one of the misses of the season. That happens. Haaland's one of the best strikers we've ever seen, and he will carry on getting better. Nunes is carry on getting better. And I'm not comparing the two because we've all been through that.
I'm comparing them. Nunes is clear.
We've got to be more controversial, boys. We gotta.
Yeah, there's the controversial. But Nunes' build-up play is looking so good, isn't it? Like it's improving. Every bit of his game has improved by like 5% or 10%, and as that carries on going, I think you're going to have an absolute world beater. And I don't know what it is, but the goal assist average for him, it's throughout this season is astronomically good. So why not just carry it on? And there's no need to criticize him because he scores the all important goal anyway. So why bother?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you look at Nunes' stats this season. I've seen some stats on Twitter which are just aren't incorrect. I think are incorrect, to be honest. People have been saying 4 goals and 4 assists. It's not true. He's had 3 goals in the Prem, 1 assist, and he got 1 goal and 1 assist in the Europa League. So, he's 4 goals, 2 assists in 7 games. With 6 goal contributions in 7 games. It's a fantastic turnaround.
Statman Dave tonight.
Yeah, I just seen. Yeah, have you been seeing the whole 4 goals, 4 assists? It's not accurate.
Are they talking about for club and country?
Oh, maybe they're talking about country. I never took that into consideration. Yeah, they need to be clear when they tweet that, because it looks like they're just talking about Liverpool. But you do what you do. But Ben, go on. I want some genuine controversy. Who's going to score more goals this season, Darwin or Darwin is going to score more goals than Erling Haaland in the Premier League?
No, listen. Erling Haaland will always score more goals. But Darwin, and you can't tell me Erling Haaland is a better football player than Darwin Nunes. I'm not having it.
Controversy.
No, go on. I'll get in this with you. I'll get in this debate with you. So I'm going to put this to you, right? So you're saying if you had to choose between Darwin Nunes and Erling Haaland in your team, you're choosing Nunes.
No, you'd probably pick Haaland, but Nunes is a better football player. That is a fact. Look at the way Nunes is dropping deeper now. We didn't see that last season. Like, he's literally dropping deep, picking up the ball and making stuff happen. If Erling Haaland does that, he breaks his ankle.
So you think you're so let's know, because I feel like we should definitely clip this and put this out, but I also want to make sure that we don't take anything you say out of context. So are you saying that in terms of versatility, Darwin's a more versatile player?
You can't put Haaland on the wing.
No, you can't.
Very fair, but Haaland is all round a better striker.
Haaland will score more goals than Nunes.
That's so interesting. So you see, I said, are you a better striker, and you're saying he will score more goals?
Okay, then. So
deflecting.
Is Haaland a better player than Mo Salah?
No.
There we go. But Haaland scored more goals last season.
Yeah, it depends.
Okay, hold on. No, this is no. So that's a false comparison. So I'm more than happy to keep going. I'll go down this route with you. Let's have this conversation. It's a false comparison. Ben, no, you want debate? I will debate, and then
why are you sticking up for Erling Haaland?
I'm not sticking up for Erling Haaland, but this is a decent debate. Chat, have your say, all right, about this debate about Haaland.
Here we go.
All right, Haaland's a better striker. Nunes is a better player.
Then
I don't know about that. I don't. And then
what else is Haaland better at than Darwin Nunes?
Haaland's a better passer than Darwin Nunes, and that's not controversial.
No,
that's not a controversial take. I love Nunes. I adore Nunes.
It's too vague because what the 5-yard passes, or you know what I mean? It's too vague. We've seen Nunes ping some lovely balls, so I understand what Ben's getting at.
Hilarious.
I understand what Ben's getting at in terms of like the better play, because Nunes does play some nice stuff at times, especially this season. And you look at Haaland struggle, but I think the context of the games doesn't help because everyone just sits back against City.
If you want to see Haaland's creativity in a City shirt, go watch when they played Arsenal last season. I think it was Arsenal. It was United. It might have been United last season. He played like 3 defense splitting passes. Unbelievable play. It's fine. They're just not comparable forwards, and there was a narrative that was forced upon us.
Yeah, it was. But listen, right? Yeah, my love for Darwin Nunes, it extends back to before he even played for us. The first ever time I watched Darwin Nunes was against Benfica, and I said in a WhatsApp chat, I'll have to find it and get the screenshot. I've put it out on Twitter before, and I'll do it again if I have to. I like the look of this Darwin Nunes. And then I went on to say, I would love us to sign this Darwin Nunes fella. And what do you know? We go and sign him. My ball knowledge and my IQ is unmatched. I scouted this man. I saw that he was giving Virgil van Dijk a hard time. And I was like, you know what? If you're giving this man a hard time in the Champions League, you must be a good forward. So we sign him, we bring him in. Pre-season, everyone's making a clown out of him. The whole season long, everyone's making a clown out of him. So when I like a player, if everyone's going to do that, it's now my responsibility to do the other end. And like you said, Mike, when he misses a chance in the ground, everyone's chanting his name and sticking up for him. Him. You go on Twitter, you see these bozos like screaming at him, calling him a Ford truck, which a very big content creator was doing all of last season. Every time he stepped on the pitch, calling him useless, calling him a Ford truck, saying that he wears Timberland boots when he plays football. So now we're reaping the rewards, and sensible people like myself and you and Elliot, we can just sit back and wax lyrical about Darwin Nunes, because why? We never once doubted him. Okay, is he a 10 out of 10 polished player? No, he's not. Will he ever become that? Probably not. But what he does do, he's a chance magnet. Like Elliot says, he misses the first opportunity. You think, you know what? We're going to get more chances. And last season, I think that is the complete difference. Last season, we sort of hung him out to dry. We put him up front. We didn't really have anything. Unless Trent Alexander-Arnold, like at Newcastle, is playing wonder balls over the top to him, didn't really have any service. Now, mate, Szoboszlai's feeding him. McAllister's feeding him. The fullbacks are feeding him. Everyone around Darwin Nunes is giving him opportunities and moments to score. And that is why he's getting 25 goals this season.
I'll put this to you. I listen, 25 goals. I'll back you on that. I think you'll get somewhere between 20 and 25. I'm down with that. I think the biggest improvement isn't necessarily the players around him. I think it's his understanding of how we need to play tactically.
I think it's a mix of both.
His defensive work, and Klopp mentioned it, his defensive work is brilliant. His hold-up play is his hold-up play is what every player around the 9 dreams of. I couldn't believe how good he was today. Everything that he tried to do came off. It was brilliant.
Last season, I think people kind of forget that Liverpool crap. He was having to do everything by himself. Like, he was even having to track back. The amount of times he tracked back from the opposition box to his own, it was too much for a number 9. So I think everyone kind of forgets that. So we'll just see him develop probably at a better rate now, because he's not being hung out down the wing for a start. And then he's not got, players declining. He's got players progressing alongside him, behind him now, and alongside him. So I think it's just, we're going to see a better player every game. And as you said, magnet for chances. The mayhem's brilliant, because Liverpool are going to create with them on the pitch. It's a simple fact. Liverpool are better with him on the pitch than they aren't, really.
Yeah. Well, Ben, let me segue for you, right? Because I want to get your opinion on this, because there was one player that did disappoint today. And, you know, it was a shame because we were all expecting him to turn up and he put in a bad performance. So I just want to see if you guessed the player. He only completed 5 passes today. He failed to win any of his 6 aerial duels, and he lost every duel in the match. However, he is far and above away in terms of claims that he can't back up. Mikhail Antonio, shite, absolute, awful, not great, bad. What do you think of Antonio's performance today, Ben, after all the talk that he put in beforehand?
Yeah, it wasn't great. And if you're going to talk the talk, you've got to walk the walk. And unfortunately, Antonio couldn't do that. Look, I'm all for players backing themselves. And I did say, to be fair, it's probably in a jokey context on a channel, unless you've actually watched the footage, which I didn't really watch. I just read the quotes. I don't really know what the context or what the manner is that he said that. However, the bit where he said, you know, it's not actually in this quote, but I believe he said, regardless if Liverpool sell Salah or not, their season's a write-off. And it's like, how
That's
dare
incredible.
you, somebody that's only played for Sheffield Wednesday, Nottingham Forest, and West Ham United, talk about Liverpool's season being a write-off? What do you know about going for a title? What do you know about performing at the highest level in football? You know nothing. You've scored a few goals for a team that's, for most of our lives on this panel, they've only ever been a relegation for the team. They've survived a few times, and more recently they've had a few European pushes, and they won the Mickey Mouse, which is the Mickey Mouse European competition. No one can say that about the Europa League anymore because we have a new one. So it's like, why are you talking about my team? Talk about your own club. You're going to be in a relegation scrap again. You've got a few nice players, but they're all going to go, like Declan Rice did.
No.
Paqueta, if he didn't put a few bets on, like I said, he'd be in a City shirt, which thank God you've saved our ass once again, because he would be unbelievable for them. So I'm not really bothered about it now, to be honest. We just did what we needed to do. Another Liverpool win. Standard procedure now. It's 5 league wins on the bounce. I don't know what the stats are for all competitions, but let's just get back to the games real quick because there's still a few things to discuss, and we'll talk about Liverpool in general. I just want to get your thoughts, Elliot, just real quick before we get to Jota's goal in the 85th minute. The second half, it just seemed like we had far more control and dominance, and you know, that was like a Liverpool performance that we are accustomed to. And I also want to single out a player which we've not spoken about yet, Curtis Jones. Talk about him and his performance today, Mix. I've seen, to be fair, a lot of people giving him the credit he deserves.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely seen someone criticize him either today or last week or so. I'm just thinking, for me, he's one of the first names on the team sheets because he proved last season with declining players around him that he's up to the task. And he can elevate the Liverpool midfield quality by himself. Now he's got quality next to him. Quality breeds quality. You've seen that today, even in like this, just, you know, little snippets of him. It's not even about the three in midfield. It's about him coming deep and sitting next to McAllister. I think we've seen it against Wolves, him coming deep again next to Szoboszlai. He can dictate a game now, and he should have probably had a goal. It's so close. It's a lovely finish, and it's great from Szoboszlai as well. I think he's one of the first things in the team sheet, and it's great to see his scouts as well, obviously. Can't doubt his quality. I don't think you can doubt his quality. And again, this whole team, and that's why I think, I'm sure we'll get onto it, little bounce from Klopp. You see him, he looks so pleased.
Revitalized.
Is so young because the team is revitalized now, and so is Jurgen. And I think this team can only get better. What cannot get better in this team? Because you think about it, everyone's young, and then maybe the fence is going to get sorted, and maybe you'll get a proper 6 in. What's going to stop the team from just getting better and better and better? And Jones is the epitome of that because he started from youth, and you've seen glimpses, like we've seen glimpses last season of Liverpool on a whole, but we didn't get the consistency. Now we're seeing consistency from Jones and seeing it from Liverpool on a whole. And I think he's got to start the most important games of the season for me now and just carry on, and hopefully no stupid injuries like he got like last season. A couple of seasons.
Very unlucky, hasn't he, in his career so far? And he's only early 20s, and it seems like he's had a lot of setbacks. But Mike, just briefly touch on what you saw from Curtis Jones today. I think, you know, we can all agree that he just worked his socks off from the first until the last moment of the game. And also, just alluding what Elliot was onto there, and I've said it for the last few weeks now, this Liverpool team, we're still in third gear. There's still a fourth, fifth, and if you've got a nice car, sixth gear to go. So like Elliot said, the possibilities that we have in this squad and beyond are very exciting. And like Elliot said, I think Klopp, when you see him at the end of the game, I hope you stayed behind to watch that.
I did. Yeah, I did.
When you see him do that, mate, I think he knows what sort of season we're in for, right?
Yeah, man. It's I don't know. It's like the spark's back. You know what I mean? There's a spark back with him that I really like. You can see in his press conferences, he's got the cheek again. He's got the joke in him. He's got the grit in him. You know, and I like it. I think in last season, I had in my head I was kind of worried that he was going to walk a couple times. And then this summer I was like, listen, if he gets the rebuild he wants, he's going to stay and extend. If he doesn't, he'll do it for another year, finish the contract in 2 years, and then that'll be it. But it's all back. It just feels like he's back to being him. The smile on his face, the pumping of the fist, like the way he was playing the crowd up as well when he was going to pump the fist, like he was like, oh, and then like I don't know, the energy, the love, the whole thing's there. The way he embraces the players, the way the players are embracing each other, it just feels like there's an energy there, there's a beauty there, and it's exciting, man. It I don't know, like we're all adults, man, but like there's a little kid inside you that loves football, and I think like it kind of just it ignites those moments, you know. I honestly God, I ain't smiled so much in a long time when I was at the ground today. It was a really, really cool experience to be back, and just to see that passion back with the players and the I don't know, man, the buzz around Liverpool again. It's nice.
No, absolutely, and there was another goal as well at the end of the game there, Mike, and comes from a corner, and Virgil knocks it down. Jota scores, and then just sort of wraps up a comfortable in the end Liverpool win, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was literally just trying to get that goal up so I could watch it back. So if you see the screen change color, it's because I've been trying to find the moment so I can see them the way you guys did. Because when it happens in the moment, I actually struggle to remember it in a way.
No, it's true, yeah, because you're not thinking about it like until you get 3-4 replays, you see it once, and if you
and it was one of them. But listen, you know, from what I remember, I couldn't find it unfortunately, but I've got the freeze frames of it. Great ball in. Van Dijk's headed down. You know, Jota right place, right time. Me and my stepdad were having this conversation on the way up about Jota. The one thing he has, I don't think any of our other forwards have, is that poacher, not even mentality, poacher ability. He always knows to be in the right place, right time. He could have the worst 88 minutes of a game. He could be completely ghost. He always knows where to be to get that to happen. And it's a skill. It's a real skill. And he's got it in abundance. And yeah, just great. I'm glad he got his goal. We did his little EA24 celebration, which was the moment I seen that, even in the ground, I was like, that's FIFA related. I don't know. I was like, he's not throwing up like the Hove triangle, like he's doing some like thing like this. I'm like, okay, all right, I'll let it go. But it's great, man. I'm glad, and I love the hunger from him and Cody Gakpo when they came on. They both were trying to prove a point.
Yeah.
And they bit at each other a little bit as well when Jota shot instead of passing to Gakpo, which I really liked because it's fiery. You want
it. Just concluding the game, Elliot, before we go on to a couple more things before we wrap up. Just that depth in attack now. We've spoken about it loads of times, but when a game's done and you're bringing on Gakpo and Jota, it's like we are blessed with the players we have available at the moment.
Yeah, it is. I was probably one of the most underrated things, and probably one of what I was pleased with the most is how alive Jota looked, because I don't think he looked, you know, and Gakpo as well, but Jota the more he looked like he had a point to prove, because he should be annoyed that he's not getting a lot of minutes over the past week, because you'd think he would have started one of the two. So I was really pleased, and I think that the strength and depth is we've said it a lot. It's brilliant, and the thing is, as I've said, everyone's pushing each other now. And Mike, you alluded to it, the spirits there from the training videos. They're all looking like they're getting on like a house on fire, but secretly we all know inside they all want to get the best of each other, and that just is how a team gets better. And Ben, you're right, because with Liverpool have started slowly in so many games, but they get better as they go on, and I feel like that's how the season's going to go. And the fact that Liverpool are still second and 2 points off Manchester City, and we know that they're going to get better, and there should be a bit more of rhythm to the start of games and a bit more of a pace and a tempo, because everyone's getting used to each other, is only a good thing. And it was really, really good today, because I'm watching the game, and compared to last season, I'm sure you two will be the same. Even when it's in like the last few minutes of injury time, I'm still excited, because I know one of these new players, or a new player who's, you know, didn't really have a great season last season, Gavin Birch, Endo, one of these want to make a prove a point, and we need to see that. And I'm still excited when it's the 93rd, 94th minute, in case someone does a little flick, a little skill, or even gets a goal. And last season, I wasn't excited from the second minute, so it's a big difference. I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to Leicester on Wednesday because let's see more new lads getting on the pitch.
Yeah, absolutely. And just before we do wrap up, I just want to briefly touch on Leicester because I think we've decided now, guys, preview shows are great, but I think we're just going to stick to Premier League ones, to be honest, because there's too many games. And yeah, no one really wants to watch a Carabao Cup preview show anyway. So we'll just talk about Leicester now for a couple of moments. You look at this bench that we've got right now. We've got Ryan Gravenberch, Cody Gakpo, Diogo Jota, Watoro. He has asked to be called that now, which is strange because he's still got Endo on his shirt. So I don't get that, but apparently he wants to be called Watoro. Kelleher, Tsimikas, Joel Kwanzaa, Konate, and Elliot. And I look at that, and I'm going on Wednesday night. So I'm actually looking at those players now. It's exactly what Elliot said. I'm excited because I remember back in the day, we'd have like Smith on left back, and our Carabao Cup teams would be like Harry Wilson's and just not good players that, okay, they might have a little bit about themselves, but like they're never going to be in the first team. You look at this bunch of players now on the bench: Ryan Gravenberch, brilliant young player; Cody Gakpo, brilliant; Jota, brilliant; Endo, still yet to be seen. Seems like he's going to be a squad player. Kelleher, brilliant young goalkeeper; Tsimikas, just back up left back; Kwanzaa, looking brilliant; Konate, brilliant; and Harvey Elliott, brilliant. So I remember making this point so many times in the season when we went for the quad. We have a squad now that is capable to be going for everything that we're in. And okay, if we was in the Champions League, maybe, those players aren't all good enough to start in that. But Elliot, especially, you were saying before the season started that, yes, we all want to be in the Champions League, but this season could be a blessing in disguise being in Europa League because now all these guys are going to get chances to play in the Cups and in Europa League. For me, looking at Wednesday night, all of those players on the bench there should start. And I think, for one of two seasons. So obviously the season went for the quad. I believe that those guys were good enough to go and win a cup. But now I'm looking at that bench, mate, and I'm thinking, you know what? Yeah, I'd be more than comfortable playing Leicester City with those players starting.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think there's any doubt because they've done it on Thursday. Okay, Lash probably aren't at the level of Leicester, but you never know when they prove themselves. And you name that bench there, and you forgetting Trent wasn't even involved today.
Oh yeah, and Basetic.
Yeah, Basetic and Thiago if he will ever again.
He's not going to be involved.
But no, I absolutely agree. I think this team, you've got to start 11s. It's mad because that is a thing where everyone has boasted about Manchester City for years, and City probably haven't got that at the moment because their squad is so small, whereas Liverpool definitely have. And I'm going to bang this drum again. You've got so many young players who are just going to develop at the speed that you want them to now because everyone else is doing the same thing. You've not got to carry someone on your back. I'm not going to name any names, but you had to say a decline of players last season, which you probably had to do that. So it's promising to see in that Europa League group stage is going to be an absolutely blessing in disguise. It's going to be brilliant for everyone. You saw it even with Gravenberch getting thrown in for a full debut from the off. Would Klopp have done that a few years ago with certain players? You remember Fabinho took ages to get starting games. So it's definitely, obviously you want to be in the Champions League. You want to hear the music. You want to hear see that the last year for that format, but. Listen, Liverpool can go on and win that Champions League maybe next season because these players have developed in Europa League this season. So it's definitely a blessing in disguise. And I'm every game excited for now because this group of players looks like they're excited as well, whereas it did not look like that last season.
Absolutely. And Mike, I'm going to throw a different question at you to conclude. I'm looking at our Premier League fixtures moving on from Leicester. Our next two games are away from home. We've got Tottenham on Saturday the 30th at 5:30, and then the following league game after that is Brighton away on Sunday the 8th at 2 p.m. Obviously, we've got a Europa League game in between the two. I've said before, mate, I remember saying it on the last show we did. I tweeted about it a few times as well. We've won our last 5 in a row. We drew the first game. I don't know how because Chelsea are beyond terrible, but it is what it is. But I'm looking at these 2 away games now, mate, Tottenham and Brighton. And I've said if we come away with 6 points, I'm not going to say anything drastic. But what I would say is make sure those red ribbons are somewhere around. Like, just in case. Just in case. Just in case they're needed. Yeah.
I think I've said to you a couple of times, and I know I've definitely said it to Elliot, I'm not saying we're in any sort of race or anything until we get through. I know, boo, negative. He's negative. I know. All right, Mr. Negative, man.
Negative reviews.
And negative reviews, man. But listen, I look at the next 3 games that we have in the Prem. It's Tottenham away, Brighton away, Everton at home. And I'm not going to turn around and say Everton are going to be a walkover. They never are. They're always an absolute pain when we play.
This time they will be.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. My best mate is an Evertonian, and he will clip this. So I'm not. My best mate is an Evertonian.
I'm on a good run of form right now for predictions.
Yeah. I'm not. And I'm
never matters.
I'm not. Listen. I think in terms of Tottenham, listen. Say that my mum's a Tottenham fan as well. So the next 3 games for me are going to be difficult.
Your family's a madness.
My whole family, man. My family and friends, man. It's difficult. Got an Arsenal mate as well, but it's one of those, man. I think if we can get through Tottenham and Brighton with 4 points, then I'll be happy. 4 points is what we need. 6 points would be amazing, right? But 4 points is a good result because Brighton are like one of the hardest teams to play against. They're so unique.
Well, if you just defend, we've seen that it's probably quite easier to break down than maybe some would anticipate. But that's
maybe.
Another podcast, isn't it? That's another
for sure, yeah. And I
so,
think
mate, you say 4 points there. So, what, Michael? If we get 6 points, would you then say, okay, now we can start thinking about a little charge?
No,
it's still too early?
It's still too early. It is. Elliot. When I say it, I say it. I'm like Gary Neville, man. I will say it when I mean it.
And guess what? Right. I know what you're saying. I mean, I'm probably getting a bit carried away, but let us get carried away. Last season was so tough. Let us enjoy it. Let us get carried away.
I'm not holding you back from enjoying it.
Is, Mike, what I will say to you, I know, is you can't, I think this is the old saying, hopefully I don't butcher it, you can lose a league title at the start, but you can't win it. And so far, we've not lost it. Like, we're still there, like 6 games in, we're 2 behind City. Like I said, there's still so many more ways this team can improve and evolve. I think we'll be up there.
Listen, I think we'll be up there. I think if we, as I say, if we get to the 10-game mark and we are at anywhere between 25 and 30 points, I'll start having some words. You're not going to hear me say we're in a title race until January. Like I won't be making.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm too old for that.
No, that's fair. That is absolutely fair. I had a question for Elliot there, but I've completely forgotten what it was going to be. Yeah, it's gone. Elliot, summarize what we've just spoken about before we go off, mate.
Yeah, no, I'm normally, I'm sure all my mates will back me up. I'm always the pessimist, so it's a bit of a change. Mike, you're taking that role from me. I think that Tottenham game is going to be the test for both Liverpool and Tottenham. I think whether they're serious this season. I think serious for Tottenham's obviously top 4 because they were shocking last year, as we were. But I don't know. I've got a feeling that there's just something's going to happen, whether it be
brewing,
or even. I don't want to put I'm not saying they're going to be in a title race. I've got a feeling that maybe it'll be like Arsenal last season in the team of that. They're there or thereabouts, but they're not there enough, if that makes sense. I know Arsenal on top of quite a lot, but I don't think Liverpool will be that. However, I think Liverpool will they'll be City first, okay, and Liverpool second, and then there's going to be a big gap for the rest of everyone else, unless Tottenham carry on. I really like Tottenham this season, so that's what I mean. I'm not going to make any controversial statements, even though that's what we want. But I think next weekend is when I'll probably get maybe a bit overexcited or a bit doom and gloom in terms of what's.
Oh, listen! When that pod comes around, when we drop points, if we drop points against Spurs, watch the views go, man. People love negativity. Trust me. I tell you, if we draw with Tottenham or lose to Tottenham, oh, bro, the pod will get views, bro. That'll be a whole.
No. It is what it is, man. You can win any game, you can lose any game. That is what it is. But yeah, what I will say before we wrap up is this league needs us because we've seen other teams try it. None of them come close to Man City. Like, if it wasn't, and people laugh at this, but genuinely, if it wasn't for Liverpool, we would be the French league. We would be the Bundesliga. So for the sake of this Premier League and everyone's enjoyment, even though everybody hates us, and whenever we go against City, they want City to win it. That's fine. That's the way I like it, to be honest. But for the sake of the league, they need a Liverpool title charge, 100%. So I think we're going to give it them. I think, like I've said a million times, what we've seen already is amazing, and there's already this big spaces for more improvements, especially defensively. Dom Szoboszlai, we've not spoken about today. There's nothing left to say about him. He's basically Stevie G 2.0. So that's all there is to say about that, really. Smash the like button, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And we'll see you on Wednesday night once we put 5 past Leicester City and Ben Doka scored a hat-trick. So take care, and we'll see you then.